Yo, what's good everyone? Today I'm going to be breaking down some of my favorite tournament or GPP plays for this Week 17 NFL DraftKings main slate. Let's dive right into it. And like I always do here in these videos, I'm going to give you a high-level overview of my cheat sheet, breaking down some of my favorite tournament plays here for this Week 17 NFL DraftKings main slate. But as always, everyone, just want to remind you and highly recommend joining my free Discord channel. You can see that mentioned above. Over 860 people in there talking multiple different sports for DFS, but primarily NFL and NHL. If you want to join that, there's a link to do so in the description below, as well as in the pinned comment below. With that being said, let's dive into the cheat sheet here. We're going to kick it off with a couple of game stacks that I like targeting. Now, if you haven't checked out my cash plays video yet, make sure you go do that. I mentioned how bad the weather's going to be out on the East Coast this week. It's pretty much raining in every single game. One game that is going to avoid that completely is this game between the Green Bay Packers and Minnesota. They played earlier this year where the game finished 31-29, so there's definitely some shootout potential here, but the Minnesota side is getting a little more love when it comes to projected ownership. So I like pivoting away from that. Don't get me wrong, everyone. I'll probably have a Sam Darnold lineup stacked with Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, and or Jordan Addison too, but Jordan Love's coming in at about half the projected ownership here compared to Sam Darnold, so I really kind of like attacking this from the tournament side of things here, and there really are a number of different ways that we can stack this up, but my preferred route here is running out Jordan Love with Jaden Reed and Tucker Kraft, and then running it back with two Minnesota Vikings, and that's where I'll probably switch things up a little more. We could obviously go with a Justin Jefferson or Jordan Addison here, but I like how affordable TJ Hawkinson is, and then we obviously have the revenge narrative there with Aaron Jones. So again, this will be a popular game here playing indoors with that shootout potential, but there really are a number of different ways that we can stack this game up to make our lineups unique. And then another game that I like targeting here this week is this game between Carolina and the Buccaneers. Now, the Buccaneers have the second highest implied team total on the main slate this week. So being that there's just 8 games, everyone, I tried to really make this second stack really unique, which is a triple stack going Baker Mayfield with a running back in Bucky Irving, his top pass catcher in Mike Evans, and then getting some value there out of Jalen McMillan, and then running it back with Jalen Coker, who's very affordable as well at $4,300. Now, Coker, he ran actually the most routes, I believe. Yes, he had the most routes, second most snaps last week of any wide receiver, and he also saw the second most targets of any wide receiver too. But if you wanted to swap this out here with Adam Thielen, I have no problem with that either. But again, being that it's just an 8-game slate here this week, I really wanted to make this second stack unique, so doing a triple stack there with the Bucs and running it back with one of the Carolina Panthers. Now folks, before we dive into some of these individual plays and stacks here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. It's completely free to do, and every like, comment, and sub that you guys leave here on this channel truly does help me out. Alright everyone, let's dive into some of these individual plays and stacks here. When to kick it off at the quarterback position. And I think I've highlighted Josh Allen for 4 straight videos now when it comes to the tournament side of things. Really worked out 2 and 3 weeks ago. Last week wasn't as great, but again everyone, I'm heading into this week looking at the projected ownership here on Friday, and he's coming in at or below 6%. I'll probably just play him naked, and for those of you who don't know what that means, it means I'm just going to play him by himself. I don't feel the need to really stack him up with any of his pass catchers. You could probably get unique in doing that with James Cook, but considering the game environment here against the New York Jets where the weather doesn't look great, you're kind of hoping for one of those performances where he throws for a touchdown and runs 2 in. So at $8,500, if you're going to give me him at 6% ownership, I'll take advantage of that in tournaments. And then Mason Rudolph, again, talked about this in my cash plays video. He is garnering some ownership, and I don't necessarily love that for tournaments, but I do love 2 things. I love the price affordability here at $5,000, and I love the matchup here against the Jacksonville Jaguars defense, a defense that we've been picking on all year long. And we can stack them up there with Chigo Konku or Calvin Ridley. Both of those stacking pieces, very affordable too. Now, moving on to the running backs here, and one guy that I would be willing to spend up for is Saquon Barkley. I think with Kenny Pickett starting here this week, his floor is probably 20 touches, assuming the Eagles aren't turning the ball over every 3 downs, with a ceiling of what? 30, 35 touches in this game. Maybe not 35. They don't want to beat this guy to hell heading into the playoffs, but 20 to 30 touches is where I have him projected right now in a really good game environment here against the Dallas Cowboys. He's going to obviously touch the ball probably close to 20 times in this game when it comes to rushing attempts, but I imagine he'll see close to 5 targets as well, so really like him on the tournament side of things. If we wanted to run out Josh Allen here this week, I think we could run it back there with Breece Hall at $6,300. This guy's still playing. I know he was kind of of battling some injuries a few weeks ago, but it sounds like he's healthy, ready to roll here this week. He's garnering a little ownership considering how affordable he is there at $6,300, but I'm not too concerned about high ownership here, and I love the matchup against this Buffalo Bills rushing defense that has not been great this year. And then as an honorable mention here, the only honorable mention that I have on the spreadsheet here today is Tony Pollard of the Tennessee Titans. His volume is super inconsistent, otherwise he'd probably be a cash game play here considering the matchup against Jacksonville, but that's why I like him in tournaments too, because if he touches the ball 20 plus times in this game, he could have a big day against that Jags defense. Next, we got the wide receivers here, and another Philadelphia Eagles player that I like this week is A.J. Brown. Now again, everyone, we need to keep an eye on the weather here. If it is downpouring, I'm not going to love the Eagles passing attack, especially with Kenny Pickett under center, but even if the weather is decent here, I don't expect it to be great, but if it's decent, I do like A.J. Brown here for 3 reasons. Good spot here against the Dallas Cowboys defense. He should see close to double-digit targets in this game with Kenny Pickett under center, and he's flying under the radar here, coming at or around 5% projected ownership. So again, let's keep an eye on the weather, but if it's decent weather, I do like A.J. Brown in tournaments. Next, I got Garrett Wilson there, the New York Jets. Really kind of a squeaky wheel narrative here. I do like the price for starters. I never thought it was a bad play, but then we get word here that he was complaining earlier this week that he's not getting enough targets as of late, or really ever since Devontae Adams came into town. Plus, we have rumor here that he wants to be traded this offseason. So, of course, the Jets head coach comes out in an interview this week and says we need to get the ball to Garrett Wilson more going forward. Well, he got 2 weeks left here the regular season, bud, so you better pepper him with targets here in this matchup against the Buffalo Bills, or he could be requesting a trade this offseason. Then Calvin Ridley there, $5,500. Really good spot against his former team. Easy to stack up with Mason Rudolph. Very affordable, too. Did you know that Brock Bowers is just 5 receptions away from breaking the all-time rookie reception record over Puka Nacua, who just broke it last year? That's kind of crazy to think when you're a tight end, but he's basically the wide receiver number 1 in this Raiders offense, and you can guarantee they're going to get him that rookie record. Good spot here against the New Orleans Saints this week, playing indoors, so he is a guy that I'd be willing to spend up for. And then Chico Conku, just like Calvin Ridley, super affordable to stack up with Mason Rudolph, or just play as a one-off play, and a really good matchup there against Jacksonville this week. Now, moving on to the defenses here, I would be willing to spend up for the Colts here, taking on the New York Giants, who have pretty much given up on the season. Dolphins here taking on the Cleveland Browns, whose quarterback situation is abysmal. You got the Eagles here taking on the Dallas Cowboys in a divisional game. Eagles really want to win this game for playoff seeding, hoping for the number 1 overall seed. Yeah, Kenny Pickett starting under center, so they're going to lean on this defense here, so I do like them at $3,100. And then if I'm looking to save some money, taking on the Raiders here at $2,600, playing indoors against the New Orleans Saints, who have no Derek Carr or Alvin Kamara this week, so they're kind of the punt play, but they're also going to be pretty popular. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great weekend here, folks, and let's win some money on this Week 17 main slate.